Hey everyone, this is Prince Watercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Bonk's Adventure. We are now in round 3, and the first enemy we meet are these red dinosaurs that look a lot like Bonk. If you jump just before they come down and do a headbutt in the air, you'll be able to hit them without them hitting you. You just gotta stand straight up, stand perfectly still, and then do the aerial headbutt. Just like that. Takes 2 headbutts to kill them. We're actually going to be meeting more enemies that basically take a lot of punishment as much as they do a lot of punishment, really. And even though one of them is nasty enough, it gets even nastier when they're in packs. Thankfully, I managed to take them down as they come. Also, in this first section, we're going to be seeing quite a few bonus areas that I'm going to be showing off and playing again. Some of them we've already seen before. We're going to be seeing, I think, at least one new one. And here's a hidden area here where you can eat a bunch of melons and refill all your health. Unlike the other bonus areas, the invincibility will still be in effect if you have it when you go in. If you've taken a lot of damage up to that point, all those melons will completely refill it. I believe this one also has another... No, not that one. This one does, though. It's the volcano minigame again. And remember when I said to stand between the first and second plants? Well, I've actually done a little more practice with the game, and it turns out you gotta stand in front of the second plant, directly in front of it, so that way you can get the best chance of hitting all of these rocks. Once you get the timing down, you should have no problem hitting all of these rocks that come out of the volcano here. Once again, I don't get a perfect on this minigame, but I do manage to hit a lot of rocks nevertheless. And those points really do add up. They really do count if you're trying to get extra lives based on score. There's another one nearby, which I'll go into as soon as I grab this meat and reset my invincibility here. And with this one, it's the spinning minigame again. Once again, I don't make it, but for a split second, I thought maybe I would. So you have me failing at this minigame again to look at right here. Thought I'd be able to hit that button one more time and land on my feet, but unfortunately that just wasn't the case. And here's another one of those feed yourself with bonus foods mini games that I managed to find here. And I thought I held the button when I jumped, and I completely messed this up. We will run into this mini game again, so I do manage to have a chance at redeeming myself. I try to look for some more bonus areas around here, but as far as I know, there aren't any. I do fight off some birds, though, along with these dinosaurs. And I do fight off this pink bird to get a big slab of meat there for complete invincibility instantly. After fighting off a bunch of birds, I get quite a few more points. Time to see if there's a bonus room in here. Not one there. Definitely not one there. There's one at the end, and I believe it is this one. Nope, not that one. This one. Well, not that one either. I keep thinking I'm at the end of the stage when I'm not. That's the one. I actually go ahead and fight off this dinosaur for the points first before I go in there. That way I don't have to deal with it when I come back in from the minigame. And here's a new one. You've got 10 seconds to scale that wall. And, well, it's your typical wall timing minigame. It's not like we haven't done this before. Just leap into the wall, keep pressing button 1, and we'll eventually scale the wall. Just keep pressing button 1 while holding right on the control pad. You'll be able to scale that wall very easily. And that's pretty much it for that minigame. Once we go up this wall, we'll be able to end the first section. Let's take care of this dinosaur first. Accidentally do some couple of wall jumps for some weird reason. Get an extra life there, which is always welcome. And then we are done with section 1. This one actually is a lot shorter. This this round is a lot shorter than round 2, but I still take as much time because of all the mini games. Also, with section 2, you want to go as far to the right as possible before you drop down. You will probably not be able to cross that bridge in time. If you land into the water, you landed far enough to the right. From there, you can just exit the 3-3. Where we have a lot of aquatic enemies, especially these crocodiles, which will take a bite out of you and leave you unable to move for a little while. Definitely want to do your best to stay away from those. And of course, you also have these dumb trees getting in the way again. Just headbutt them out of the way if you don't want them near you. Thankfully, there is a floor here. I take advantage of it while I grab a few of these happy face icons. And that crocodile right there, he actually took me by surprise. I did not expect him to go straight for me when I was lined up with him. Yeah, you want to watch out for the crocodiles that are in the water, that are actually in the water as opposed to the surface, because they move up and down, and they will line themselves up with you. Getting caught by those things is no fun. Also, I managed to find this bonus area in the recording. Break the blocks, then go to the end and press up, and you'll go to another volcano minigame. This is where I figured out that if you stood right in front of the second plant there in the background, you can actually get a good shot at hitting all of these rocks. I thought I was probably going to get perfect there, but sadly I did not. I did come awfully close though. That's a lot of hits. That really isn't bad at all. Now it's time to get out of here and try not to get eaten by any more crocodiles. I do like how the eyes on those crocodiles in the water glow, by the way. Very Genesis-y. Very Genesis / Mega Drive-ish how it works. And this is supposed to be an 8-bit system, but it really feels like a 16-bit one, to be honest. At least to me. I could be wrong on the 8-bit part, but I've basically read that it's 8-bit, so I obviously couldn't tell you, honestly. I'm pretty sure it's 8-bit, though. If Wikipedia is probably telling me that. But anyway, we're pretty much nearing the end of this area. Might as well go ahead and fight up a few more jellyfish and mollusks. Somehow run into that thing. And try not to die before I make it to the end. Thankfully, I don't die before I make it to the end. So we are now halfway through this area already. More than halfway. And now we got the I can't speak to save my life. We got the bonus music playing here, as we have to deal with these turtles that shoot these little harpoons at us. There are two ways to get the harpoon turtles to shoot at you. Either you have to be lined up with them, or you have to be deadly close to them. I take care of the latter sometimes in order to get a few things in this area. By the way, if you press 2 right after you press 1 in the water, you'll still do the spin thing. I don't know why you would want to do that, or why you want to be able to do that. It's kind of useless, to be honest, in the water. Somehow, despite having only 1 hit left, I managed to do a lot better here than I did in the practice run. I remember losing a few lives here, but here I did a lot better. You also want to be careful with the rocks. If you get too close, they glow and then they split into 4, and then those remnants also split into 4. And there's no way you can damage the rocks. They will hurt you no matter what, so you have to be very careful. At least you can damage the harpoons with your jump or headbutt attacks in the water. And that's what it does when you get too close. It glows like that, and it can be rather nasty. I also want to take the left path here because of that extra life. I actually take that turtle out first before I grab it. That way, I manage to have at least 1 life to make up for the one that I will probably be able to lose. And I almost considered going to the left there, but I realized there wasn't really anything there as far as I know. And I didn't want to risk losing the life that I just gained, so I just head straight to 3-5. If you want to attack those enemies without losing health, hit them from the ledge below. Hit them when they reach the ledge and reach the edge of the floor there, and you should be able to hit them without having to do an aerial headbutt. You'll do less damage, but it still works, and you can actually save yourself some health that way. Also, these ice cubes that are coming in from the left, they will not hurt you. Matter of fact, if you stand on them, you can take a ride on them. And you will need it at one point, eventually, to go up a slope that you wouldn't be able to get over normally. It's not here, but it's coming up. We also take on a few birds. They don't really leave anything useful aside from the happy face icons that I've been picking up the entire time. And when you reach this waterfall, you actually want to drop down and fight off the turtles and their harpoons. Reason being, you want to go into this little nook and cranny to the right here, break the blocks, and it's this mini game again. So hopefully, I shouldn't be jumping into the pit with a very low jump like I did last time. And I do a little better here. Matter of fact, this is the best attempt of this through the playthrough. I did make it to the end of this bonus area in the practice run. And you don't really get a bonus for making it to the end, but it's still cool to try to get all the fruits and vegetables in the area regardless. Let's go ahead and grab this meat here. Definitely gonna need it for what we're about to do. I fight off these birds at first, and I also managed to find a tulip just from headbutting the ground in a certain spot. There are certain spots where you can grab a tulip and get a bunch of points, and then that plant from last time showed up again, and I grabbed it from underneath, and I got an extra life out of it. I did not expect to do that at all. As a matter of fact, it took me by surprise. I also went back and bought that pink bird so I could get the big hunk of meat there so I could get invincibility. And I got the invincibility to start over again, so that way I could fight that plant off no problem. Now you want to be careful with the thunder class here because the thunder will zap you and take off a little bit of your life. And you actually want to break the blocks that make up this bridge of ice cubes to get down into the water because there's another mini game to the right. And I want to go into it and get some more points before I exit this stage, or this section rather. And it's the wall climbing mini game again. Might as well go ahead and get all the points that I can get, especially when I have 5 lives. Never honestly thought the life counter would go past 3, to be honest. Because every time I have 3 lives and I try to get another extra life through points, I end up not getting that 4th life for some reason. I also break this block and then let the dinosaur drop down here. So that way I can attack it in the water. Now that those harpoon turtles won't respawn, go ahead and grab the meat here. Go ahead and try to take care of this dinosaur enemy here. And get some more invincibility. That dinosaur just happened to drop some meat. Also, we have 3 more plants here, and you want to hit the one in the middle for the power-up. The other 2 are enemies. Also, you'll now be traversing from waterfall to waterfall, trying not to get zapped by these clouds. You do have those enemies that jump out of the water. Thankfully, getting through this area is really easy. And once we're past those 4 waterfalls, we are finally able to face the boss. When you enter the boss station, you'll find out that the little bone platforms are gone, and it's just a simple empty room. You get to fight this guy. You want to hit the helmet that's on his head and flashing, obviously, but you don't want to run into his outstretched arms, or the rocks that he throws. Pay attention to where the rubble comes up out of the ground when he comes back out of the ground, because that's where he's going to show up. When you get a few hits on the helmet after he comes back up, he'll eventually go back down. And you'll have to basically stay on the move and hope he doesn't come up on you again. Also, I happen to be a little bit impatient. I keep running into his outstretched arms every so often. Thankfully, after losing that life, I get a little more patient here. For the most part. And take advantage of any invincibility periods that I have whenever I can. Now, come to think of it, I'm pretty sure you're a spiked lizard. Also, this guy asked if you've seen Princess Zai after you freed him from mind control. I finally figured out what the plot of the story is. Turns out, this big, huge guy named King Drool kidnapped Princess Zai, and you have to go after King Drool and save Princess Zai. So I finally figured out what the plot of this game is now. Anyway, we are now done with round 3. Join me next time for round 4. Until then, this is Prince Watercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!